I was living in my car. I couldn't afford rent. I couldn't really afford much of anything. And 2.5 years later, I'm a head title at a $4 billion tech company. Let me explain. I was living in Miami working on what were my dream cars at the time. I was a mechanic and I had a super cool job that I loved, but I was living out of my 21-year-old car. It was horrible. And I was kind of at a point in my life where I'd worked all these jobs. I had done all these things and I'm like, I have nothing to show for it. I've worked as a line cook, a mechanic, a parachute packer, a firefighter, a pecan farmer. What else am I missing here? I'm always curious about what's behind the door. How does it work? Can I just get a peek of how this stuff works? And I think I put off like college, and my dad was a engineer and my dad worked in software, and I really look up to my father. He has an incredible career and a lot of accolades, and I would look at that and be like, my dad is so smart. He can read a whole book in a day. Incredibly intelligent individual. I look at him and I'm like, I'm just not that smart. I just won't be able to make it there. Like, I just can't work with computers. I just can't understand software. I just can't. And it's like, no, you can. And I stumbled upon Zapier. I got a free Zapier account and I had done one really simple Zap, and I really didn't even understand what I was doing. I started building Zaps and learning Zapier and like learning automations and figuring out how all this stuff kind of worked together, because it was just Pandora's box for me. And so that's kind of where my automation business was born. Understanding and formulating how you think about automation is the most important part about automation. Can I automate this, that, and the other thing? I started begging people to let me do automations for them for free. The rest is kind of history. They're like, dude, you gotta let me pay you. Like, you've had such an impact on my business, you've gotta let me pay you. And I think I had like $239 in my bank account, and I spent $200 to book this call with him because I really wanted to talk to him. And I got on the call and we talked a little bit about content, and I was like, hey man, I'm learning this automation stuff. I've gotten pretty good at it. I would love to help you out with anything on the content side that you need. Editing, production, whatever you need. So I ended up building him this like really robust ClickUp workspace that had hundreds of Zapier steps powering this ClickUp workspace. And so ClickUp had reached out to him about a brand deal. And he was telling the guy that reached out to him about the brand deal, like, oh, actually, I'm already using ClickUp. I've got this guy, Joe. He built this really amazing workspace. So the guy that reached out to him from ClickUp ended up being one of the founding members of ClickUp. And he looked at the workspace and he called me. He's like, hey, man, we think this is really cool. We'd love to see what else you've built with ClickUp. So I showed him all the other workspaces I had and all the automations that I built with ClickUp and kind of everything that I was doing with ClickUp, because ClickUp kind of became the house for all the automations that I was building. So they put me on a call with some of their executive leadership at ClickUp and they offered me a job. It was crazy because it was a head title and I didn't really have to submit a resume. I started building Zaps out of my 21-year-old car in a church parking lot in Miami. And now I'm getting offered a head title at a multi-billion-dollar tech company. Like, what happened? When I realized that the problems that I used to be able to solve were like little, you know, like I don't want to send an email, or I don't want to mark something as read, or I want to send a message when something happens, right? That's not like a huge problem. You know what's a big problem? My business needs more leads. I need to close more sales. My customers aren't happy with me. So when you can build an automation that solves a problem like that, that's the difference between where I was then and where I was now. I found bigger and meaner dragons to go after, right? The biggest dragon that you're always gonna fight is gonna be you. Always, right? When you look at yourself in the mirror and you don't like the way the shirt fits you, or the pants are too big or too small or whatever it is, like that's always the biggest dragon. It's never the stuff at the office, right? The only thing that I wish I could change is how I thought about the problems that I had as they related to my value as a person. I think that lesson is like, you're not stupid. You have to start collecting the wins where you can. One of the guiding principles that I live by is collecting small wins. When I was in my car, the wins were, can I eat and not feel bad about somebody else paying for my food? Can I make it the whole night on the tank of gas that I have and wait till my paycheck gets here? And the difference between me now and me then is I wasn't collecting the small wins. And that's the thing that I would change. I would tell myself, like, don't worry about mastering everything, just master something. And so From where I was then to where I am now, it was just never letting small wins go to waste. That's the genesis of everything. Once I started using Zapier, I realized I could collect a lot more small wins than I was currently doing in a more impactful way. And small wins for me started to be huge wins for other people. Small wins for me in Zapier turned into hours of saved time for my clients. And if you have a small business and you are running a business and you're not already implementing AI and automation, it's not like a scare thing. You will get left behind, and your competitors and people who are less talented than you and work less hard than you are gonna win because they're utilizing the things that are available to them, namely automation and AI. I just decided to start using Zapier, and I decided that I wasn't going to be discouraged because I didn't know something. I listened to a lot of tech founders. I listened to lots of different personalities on like YouTube and stuff over the years for inspiration. It's wild because a lot of those people that I used to look up to and see on TV shows are in my cell phone because I'm their automation guy. But I always think about it all the time. Like on the way here, I was like, it's just Zapier. Like all of this stuff, this trip, you guys, the camera that's sitting in front of me, the production equipment, the flight up here, the hotel, it's like Zapier has changed my entire life. I never imagined myself living my life the way that it is right now. I can make people feel good. I can do what I want when I want to do it. I can solve big problems. I can slay big dragons. And then I can just get up from my computer and go play with my daughter. I literally owe everything that I have right now to Zapier. You could take a lot of different things out of my life. You could take out some of the influencers I worked with. You could take some of the clients that I've had. You could take out some of the places that I've lived. You take out Zapier, all of my dreams and my whole life disappears.